is up, everyone? Welcome back to the new Japan Takeover, where I am your host. It is Y2 Garcia, and join with me, we have a new guest, as you can see, all the way from Scotland. This is my friend Gema. Say hello to the people, Gema.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, so today Gema and I are going to go over the Capital Collision pay-per-view that happened in Washington, D.C. this past Saturday as of recording. It was Saturday, right? Yeah. It was Sunday for you, but it was Saturday for me because, time is just crazy. So, yeah, on Saturday, Capital Collision happened. Pretty good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it?
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Sort of roller coaster.
Yeah, for sure, to say the least. And we'll get right into it. But yeah, we're just here to talk about that. We're going to go through each match briefly, give it a rating, and then we're going to just give our wrestler and match of the night. And yeah, that's our show. So let's get right into it. So for our opening match, we had Carl Fredericks. He is a star on New Japan Strong. So personally, this is a lot of New Japan Strong wrestlers, I'm not as familiar with, but I know Gema is, so that's why she's perfect to have on for this. But he is on New Japan Strong, where you can see him mostly, and he is actually the winner of the Young Lions 2019 Young Lions Cup. He took on Ren Narita, and they just had a one-on-one match for the opening. I thought it was pretty damn good for an opener. Again, there was no titles on the line. It was just a one-on-one match, and it was pretty good. Gema, tell me your thoughts on that.
I just caught it right in the middle of the match, so I kind of was in a bit of leeway, and I really love Clark, and Carl Clark is this. I love all of the New Japan Dojo, Clark, Connor, Alex, and I can't fathom how he manages to do some of this stuff. He is brilliant in and out of the ring. I also believe Ren Narita is amazing, and I feel like both of them are going to do so much.
Yeah, for sure.
And
yeah, so a really good match, again, for the opener with nothing on the line. It was really good to kick off the show. Carl Fredericks was the one who took the win on this, and at the end of the match, we had QT Marshall on the Factory attacking Carl Fredericks after the match, and I didn't really pay attention to much about what he said because, it's no offense, it's QT Marshall. I was just like, dude, let's just get on to the next match. But basically, he just came on, talked a bunch of crap, and that's basically kind of how that's how we go on to the next match. They just kind of left us there.
Yeah.
So
it sets us up for the match in Philadelphia between QT and Carl, and it was basically QT was making a statement basically saying, you're nothing. If you joined the Factory, you would have been something.
Yeah, and again, I didn't pay attention because, again, I don't really care for QT Marshall, so I was just like, let's get to the next match. How would you rate this match on a scale of 1 to 5 stars?
I would rate it 4.5.
4.5. Okay, I gave it 4 stars because, again, it's a hell of an opener, but I think, again, the whole stuff with QT at the end I didn't like, of course. I know that's not technically part of the match, but it's kind of within the same concept, so because of that, I just gave it 4. Again, it was a good match, so, and also because, it is the opener, so it can only get better, if it starts off this good, so that's why I just decided to give it just the solid 4. So, for our next match, we had, so sorry, hold on. I wrote all of my notes down right here on my phone. We had David Finlay, Fred Rosser, the DKC, who was taking Rocky Romero's place in this match because Rocky Romero was supposed to be in this match, but Trent, who was supposed to tag with Okada, got COVID, and so it just, this whole domino effect happened, and then Rocky Romero ended up taking Trent's place is in the match with Okada, and then the DKC ended up taking Rocky Romero's place. So there's that. And then Yuya Uemura, sorry, again, I'm bad at pronunciation, so if I botch some of these names, forgive me. And Tangaloa went up against Team Filthy, which consists of Danny Limelight, Jor-El Nelson, J.R. Kratos, Royce Isaacs, and Tom Lawler, who is the strong openweight champion. So Gemma, thoughts on this match?
I really like this match because it shows us the storyline between Fred Rosser and Filthy Tom Lawler, and I just think that even though that some of these people, because of the domino effect, work so well together, and I feel like David Finlay has gotten lethal. The commentary stated that he's gotten an edge to him after the whole thing, and I'm still kind of wondering what's going to happen to David Finlay. And also the setup, as I said, with Fred Rosser and Filthy Tom Lawler, I'm so excited to see what's next.
Yeah. So again, this match was pretty not difficult to watch because it was a good match for me personally, but all of them, if you look at them, strong talent. New Japan strong. This was it's like exclusively just New Japan strong, which isn't a bad thing. But again, personally, I don't keep up with New Japan strong as I do with just New Japan, like classic New Japan, if you will. I want to start getting into it, and I'm hoping, now that I'm off school for the semester and I have my summer off, I can start slowly, getting into watching New Japan Strong. Because again, I do have a lot to catch up on. I've seen briefly of it here and there, but I'm not really caught up with the storylines like the way Gemma is, which again is another reason why it was like great to have her on. Because I don't even know if Daniel keeps up with New Japan Strong. He might, but again, we've only talked about classic New Japan. So, because of that, it kind of affected my rating, which we'll get into in a minute. But Team Filthy took the win over Finlay, Rosser, the DKC, and Uemura and Tongaloa. And after the match, there was a brawl, and, the baby faces were left standing, just kind of the classic, I think that's how tag team matches usually play out. You have the baby faces standing tall while the heels fled. So that was just something to note afterwards. Gemma, how would you rate this match as someone who actually keeps up with New Japan Strong?
I would rate this one a solid 4 for me, because as you stated, it is really hard to keep up with things that are going on in both New Japan Strong and the main roster. Yeah. So kind of having that chaos kind of just throws you off a little bit there.
Yeah. So then the same thing can be said for me, which is why, again, like I said earlier, it affected my rating. I gave it 3 stars, not because I thought it was a bad match, but again, I feel like I would have enjoyed it more had I been kept up with the storyline. So it's nothing really against these wrestlers because they're all talented. Don't get me wrong. I didn't see anything wrong with any of them. But again, because I'm not as kept up with New Japan Strong, I felt like I couldn't enjoy it as much as I possibly could have if I would have been someone to keep up with it. But again, I'm working on it. I plan on working on it in the summer. So next we have our third match, which was the Great O'Khan of the United Empire taking on Chase Owens, who is one half of the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Champions, and he is also a member of the Bullet Club. Gemma, thoughts on this match?
It was highly entertaining. I feel like Chase has now got this whole new ego now that he's a champion.
For sure. But it's welcome though. He's a heel and he's in the Bullet Club. It's highly welcomed. That's the thing.
I love Chase with all my heart. He's so funny. But then also, Great O'Khan has Will Ospreay, TJP, Aussie Open, Jeff Cobb, and it's kind of like brand supremacy, like club supremacy,
like faction supremacy.
Yeah. Because I feel like that's the whole thing with Bullet Club and United Empire right now. Who's better? Who will come out on top? Yeah. And Chase proved that.
It kind of seems like, especially with this match, it's more like a situation where like anything you can do, I can do better. But obviously, Bullet Club is really winning that battle because as we get into it later, and as what you saw if you watched on Taku, then yeah, that's definitely like Bullet Club has United Empire beat just. For now, at least, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But for now, Bullet Club's got one up on the United Empire. Yeah, I thought it was a really good match as well. Very entertaining on both ends. I do like Chase Owens as well. First of all, I also want to give massive props to him because not even a week before this pay-per-view, he had lost his doggo. And, as someone who owns 2 dogs myself, that would, like, I can only imagine, like, the pain and, like the mourning he's feeling for this loss.
Yeah.
He had this dog for 14 years, and I can only imagine what he was going through, but still coming out and still being like the cocky, badass, heel that he is, and like making it seem like there's nothing wrong. Massive props to him. Less than a week after like the death of this dog, I give him massive props. Again, if it were me, I'd be a mess, and I probably would not be good to go in like less than a week. So
Yeah.
the fact that he was able to like pull himself together and be like put on a performance for these people who came to watch, massive props to him there. So Chase did win this match, so that made me even happier for him because again he won his match. He did use the ropes to win, but that's just the heel shit. So and he didn't get caught.
Yeah.
So, and he also after the match, of course, Great O'Khan was rightfully pissed off. And of course, how we were talking about Chase Owens, getting this new like condescending attitude, if you will. He was holding up his title in Great O'Khan's face, and that only can make me think like future title match. Are we gonna get like maybe Great O'Khan and someone else from United Empire taking on Chase Owens and Bad Luck Fale for the tag titles? Like maybe that's something that we will see in the future, or maybe something that we could see like at Dominion or like even like Forbidden Door or something. So you never know. The future is bright for New Japan right now. So Gemma, how would you rate this match?
I would rate this match, again, another solid 4, just because Chase, with his dog passing, I also give him props because I am a dog owner myself, and I would have not been able to. So
it's
props
not easy.
to Chase.
Yeah, so
it's really not easy.
Yeah. So I give this match a 4 also because again it was entertaining and mostly because it was props to Chase for being able to do this. When the most I've dealt with the loss of a pet was when my aunt's dog passed away when I was a junior in high school. She wasn't the dog wasn't mine, but I was at my aunt's so much growing up that I grew up with this dog. I would help take care of her. I would help take her on walks, feed her. So she was a big part of my life, and I was horribly devastated when she passed. So I can only imagine how it feels when the pet is actually yours. It's your pet. So again, just throwing it back out there. Chase, we love you, and we're so glad that you're able to like push through. Because again, we wouldn't have been able to do it. So the fact that you were able to and still win your match, like props. So we love you, Chase. So that leads us into the 4th match, which we have Bad Dude Tito and TMDK, which stands for The Mighty Don't Kneel, which consists members of Jonah, Mikey Nichols, and Shane Haste, taking on the United Empire, which is Aaron Henare. Am I saying that right? I was gonna say I usually mix. It's because I'm kind of convinced I'm dyslexic because sometimes I read shit wrong. So I thought it was Henry for the longest time, but then I saw they spelled it like the other way. So I was like, oh my god, that's not what it is. And I was like, I hope I hadn't been saying his name wrong this whole time. So I've been slowly teaching myself to say Henare because that's how it's spelled. And so him and Jeff Cobb, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark Davis. So Gemma, thoughts on this match?
I really, really like this match. This was one of my favorite matches because, like, TMDK having Mikey Nichols back and reuniting the original TMDK, it was interesting to watch, and especially the addition of Bad Dude Tito, like, nuts, because Shane and Jonah have been tagging with Tito against the likes of Finjuice and stuff like that. So I'm just really excited to see what's next for TMDK and Tito because I'm digging them personally together. And the match was great, and I'm kind of really digging Aussie Open being in United Empire too because and I've never really heard of Aussie Open until I saw them with Will Ospreay. So that's kind of giving me new people to watch. So, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, really good match also. Again, I really didn't know much about TMDK, but I really was impressed with their performance. And you mentioned something that was in my notes to mention for after the match. Um, First there was Jeff Cobb and Jonah had a stare down after the match, so we could be seeing a match between them in the future, which I'm all in for. It's gonna be a dope ass match. And like you mentioned, Bad Dude Tito joined the Mighty Don't Kneel. So we're gonna see now it's a 4-man faction. Now we get to see what's gonna go on now. Like, there's a lot of like, and it's one thing to have 3 people because you could go after trios titles, you could do like, do trios tag teams. But with more than 3, I feel like you're really starting to build yourself up as a whole ass, a faction.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just have to see what goes on from there. So as far as ratings, Gemma, how would you rate this match? I don't think I've asked you that yet.
4.5.
4.
Another 4.5.
I'm gonna give this one a 4, only 4 stars because, like I said, one entire tag team I don't know much about. So back to like what I said about the previous tag match there was, there's not much for me to like, I guess enjoy if I did know who they were. But it was still a really good match at the end, and I give my highest respect. I have the highest respect for these guys of the Mighty Don't Kneel, and I really want to look more into them as a faction now. So I'm definitely, giving them their flowers, giving them their props. But because of that, it did kind of affect the rating a bit. So we're gonna go on to our 5th match, which is Brody King of the House of Black taking on the King, Minoru Suzuki. I was pretty hyped up for this match because, these 2 guys are freaking like brutalists. So when you put them in a ring, I was very excited to see what came about. Gemma, thoughts on this match?
It was nuts because I was like, oh my gosh, because Minoru Suzuki, you have seen, like, we have seen his lethalness, especially like in AEW and New Japan, and just putting him up against Brody King, who has like the similar brutalness, and especially with now him being in the House of Black with Malachi and Buddy. Just I love this match. All of these matches
Roller
in
coaster,
Couple
like you said. Like you said, roller coaster.
Yeah, like I said, it was an absolute insane match. And I give props to both men for absolutely beating the ever living turd out of each other.
Yeah. I thought it was a really good match too. Again, just seeing the brutality on both ends was really cool. I wish it was a little bit longer because I feel like for me personally, when you see these 2 dudes who are like, like how I mentioned, they're brutalists, they're like, about the chops, all about the hits, the blows. It seems like one of those matches where you should be on the edge of your seat, like who's gonna win this? It should be like it should take forever to like see who's gonna win. It's like not forever, it shouldn't be like a 30-40 minute match, but I guess it should have been a little bit longer than it was because it should be like one of those matches where it's like these both guys are so good at what they do. It should be like, like, oh my God, like so many close calls, so many this, so many that. Kind of what we saw with Ishii and Eddie Kingston. I would have liked to see more of that in this match because again, they're both, such talented wrestlers, with the same build, the same brutal nature in them. So, but again, it was still a really good match, and I was not like underwhelmed with based off the hype I was expecting. So I still liked it. So, how many stars would you give this match?
I would give this match another 4.5 because I agree with you. I wish it went just that little bit longer because, again, like you mentioned with Ishii and Eddie, they are brutal people, and I agree with we could have had like close calls and like near falls and stuff like that. So yeah, I give it a 4.5.
Okay. I give it a 4.25 because of like what I mentioned. I expected a little bit more, but I was not like at all disappointed with this match. I just wanted it to just be a smidgen longer with a little more close calls because like I wanted to be like, shit, like, who's gonna win this? Like, it could be anybody, you know, it could have been anyone. Which, I mean, I guess technically was the case, but, like, I feel like with, like, the longer the match goes with the close calls, it really, like, amplifies that, like, uncertainty of who's gonna win. So, next, we have our 6th match, which is, like we brought up during the last match, Tomohiro Ishii, the Stone Pitbull, taking on Eddie Kingston. Holy shit, this match. Gema, thoughts?
I agree. Holy shit, indeed. Because if you haven't watched Eddie, you need to. You need to watch his matches to understand that his heart is...
And his promos, for sure. Like, he speaks from the heart, and you can tell.
Yeah, he is all heart, no pun intended to Blake Christian, but he knows what he's doing and what he wants, and he is like fighting to get it, and he's just insane.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry. Continue.
I was gonna say, as for the Stone Pitbull, we've seen him on Impact fight for the Impact World Champion against Josh Alexander, and he's brilliant. I feel like him and Eddie are perfect. Like, these people are the two people that mesh well together, and they both have the same goal of fighting until the wheels just go flying off.
Yeah. I highly agree, and like how you said, like, Eddie's just all heart. This dude needs some gold in the future. Even if he, like, comes in, like, and takes, like, you know, the New Japan Strong title or the IWGP US title, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that. Like, fuck, let him do it. If you're not going to give him an AW title, maybe, like, let him, or get a Ring of Honor title. Tony Khan owns Ring of Honor. Let him have a Ring of Honor title. You know, like, let him face Samoa Joe. Like, how about that? That would be fucking good. So, like, Eddie needs some gold on him. It's long overdue, and if it's not going to be from AEW, you have many other companies to help him out, you know? But also with Tomohiro Ishii, I love Eddie. You know, he's really, again, he's all heart, and you've got to respect that. You know, his promos are always fucking phenomenal and spot on. Again, nothing but respect for Eddie, but the reason why I was rooting for Tomohiro Ishii is because Ishii, like, I think needed this. And what I mean by that is I feel like they've done Ishii dirty for so long now. Like, you know, I really wanted him to win the G1 and go to Wrestle Kingdom. That didn't happen. Not mad that Okada was the one who won, but I'm just saying, I really wanted Ishii to get the G1. I wanted Ishii, you know, to win the New Japan Cup. I wanted Ishii to, like, you know, there's so many things I want for Ishii. If it's not this, then I want it to be the next thing. So, like, I thought, you know, if not the G1, you know, let him go face for a different title. Like, you know, prime example at Dontaku, I was, you know, he was against Tanahashi, so don't get me wrong, I fucking love Tanahashi. As you all know, I'm wearing the shirt. But if Ishii won, I would have been also extremely happy because, you know, he needs this. He needs this title. He won the Never Openweight Championship for a bit, but it was not even a very fulfilling reign. So I've been wanting Ishii to get, like, a nice, lengthy title reign. And I hope this is, like, a step closer, especially after how well he performed in this match with Eddie. And I said it on my Instagram story, and you liked it, so I'm like, I hope that means you agree that Ishii should be the one who takes the title off of Okada. Sorry, Jay, it shouldn't be you. Like, Jay's already...
I agree.
Like, here's the thing, though. Jay, it's not even so much because I don't like Jay, but Jay's already thriving as the Bullet Club leader, okay? He's already... I think he kind of revived the Bullet Club at Dontaku by coming back. You know, he's showing up more. You know, he had a match tonight, you know, or not tonight, but, like, at the pay-per-view. So he's thriving. He doesn't need the title to make him, you know, to lift him up. I'm not saying Ishii does either, but Ishii has never really had this long, fulfilling title reign, and he's never been the heavyweight champion, which the dude is a heavyweight. So let him, you know, take the title and, like, let him have a nice reign with it. And even if it means, like, you know, he wins the G1 and, like, goes whoever's the champ by Wrestle Kingdom and win then, let him have his moment for once. Like, let him have it. I want justice for Ishii so badly. I really want him to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, hopefully by this year. I think it's long overdue. And I thought the Never Openweight Championship was a step closer, but it really hasn't really seemed that way. Because like you said, like he challenged for the Impact title and he lost. He challenged for the U.S. title. He was technically a substitute because Ospreay got COVID, but he still lost. And so I'm thinking like, you know, let him have a nice, lengthy, fulfilling title reign. And I want it to be the heavyweight title because he deserves to leave the locker room. He deserves it. So yeah. Sorry, I just got a notification. But how would you rate this match?
I would rate this is my first 5. Yeah, I think it would be a solid 5 because I agree with you. Ishii deserves the heavyweight title, in my opinion, because Jay doesn't need it because he's got the Building Club. Like, I agree with you. It's so much in the sense of Ishii deserves to lead the locker room because he's got that leader kind of like stature, and Jay like he's already a leader. So yeah, this is my first 5 of the night.
Yeah, and I guess I just want to add on that it doesn't help that like Ishii is in a faction, he's in Chaos, but he's not the leader. Obviously that's Okada, and let me just tell you, nothing against Ishii, but it's really hard to live up to the standards or to like the expectations of someone like Kazuchika Okada. It's just very difficult. But again, so that's why I think, you know, that's why I would want him to win the title. That being said, since it really wasn't for a title and because I really wanted to save the 5-star match because we still have 2 more matches before, I gave this match 4.75 stars. It was still really good, but again, I wanted to save that 5-star for either the next match or the match after that because we have 2 more matches to cover. So that's why I went that. But yeah, super awesome match. He should be the one to dethrone Okada. I will take that to my grave. I will die on that hill. So yeah. Okay, so we're about to get into the semi-main event, the 7th match of the night. But before that even happened on the pay-per-view, the man of the hour, Lio Rush, appears. He comes out. He talks about how good it feels to be home because apparently he's from DC, which I didn't know. He said he wasn't cleared to compete yet, specified on the yet, which means Lio Rush does have a plan to come back and compete. He says that he wanted to send a message. He said that he wants to let the junior heavyweight division know that once he returns, once he is clear, that the entire division will change drastically, basically putting them on notice. He calls out names like Robbie Eagles, Taiji Ishimori, Hiromu Takahashi, etc. Really cool to see him back. I know it was kind of like we weren't sure. It was very unsure whether, like, the status of Lio Rush. So I thought it was really cool to see him. Gemma, what were your thoughts on that?
I agree. It was nice to see him back because I feel like Leo will thrive in New Japan. He's just got that style that kind of like Robbie Eagles, as you mentioned. He has got that high flying capability like most of the junior heavyweights do. And I kind of like the fact that he was like, I am here, and when I come back, y'all are gonna know.
Yeah, like he's ready to put this entire division on notice, and we'll just have to see when he's cleared. Hopefully that's soon. You know, he seems like he really wants to be, you know, back in the ring, competing, you know, getting the junior heavyweight division like under him. You know, it's going to be his division at some point, is based off what he said. So we'll just have to wait and see. But it is good to see him back because, again, there was this uncertainty of whether or not he was ever going to even wrestle again. So the fact that he's back, good to know. You know, good to see him there. So that being said, that leads us into our 7th match, which was Bullet Club with the leader Jay White and Hikuleo. No, we don't do that here. Taking on Chaos, being the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada, yes, the Rainmaker, and Rocky Romero taking the place of Trent Beretta, like how we mentioned, has COVID. So Rocky took his place. Love to see it. Gemma, thoughts on this match?
It was refreshing to say the least because, as we mentioned, Trent got COVID and Rocky took his place, and I like the dynamic of Okada and Rocky.
Oh, same here.
And it was just nice and refreshing to also see Hikuleo back and just working with Jay, even though they had a bit of a wobbly debate.
I have thoughts on that later, but I'll say that later. But yeah, keep going.
And so it was just like seeing Okada, seeing him just be like, guess what, Jay? You're not gonna tear me down. You are not coming for this title as long as I have it. Basically. But then Jay being Jay, the ego that he has also kind of clashes with the determination of Okada. And I feel like sometimes Jay's ego swerves him a little bit.
Gets the best of him.
Well, yeah, and
I feel like reasons like that, like his ego kind of gets in the way, and because of like that, it kind of interferes with his motives. Like for example, he won the rights to the briefcase, you know, at the G1, not at the G1, but he won the rights of the briefcase from the G1 from Kota Ibushi in 2019. No, 2020. It was 2020 that led into 2021 Wrestle Kingdom. And ever since he got the briefcase, of course, he was on cloud 9 talking about, you know, I'm going to win this, you know, like, you know, and when Tetsuya Naito, you know, let Kota challenge him for both the IWGP IC title and the heavyweight title, you know, Jay was, of course, saying like, yeah, you're going to hold those titles for one day and I'm going to come back and I'm going to become God of Pro Wrestling. He was letting his ego and his arrogance get in the way of what was important. Like, dude, look, I'll be nice, but I'm just saying, like, look, this is me just being like constructive criticism, okay? But like, look, just wait. Word of advice: just wait until after you get the job done to say something. Because if you do the like, you know, if you start talking like all this crap and then you end up not getting the job done, that just, you know, doesn't give you a good image, you know. It's kind of so I'm just like, Jay, word of advice from just constructive criticism, just. I know you want to say it, but just wait, okay? Just wait to say it. You know, there will be a time. But yeah, I agree with you. It was refreshing in a way, like seeing, you know, these members like of Chaos. Like I don't know when was the last time we really saw like Rocky and Okada working together, like just the two of them. But it was really cool to see. I felt like personally, I kind of saw myself in Rocky. He looked so happy to be there, and he's so much shorter than Okada, which I'm short as well. So I'm like, oh my god, like if it was just really good to see. And there's something to note from this match, just a little thing that I noticed, and they kind of mentioned it on commentary too. Jesus Christ, Hikuleo is fucking tall, because like Okada is like 6'3", and Hikuleo stands taller than him. So I'm like, oh my god, this just made me want to like meet Okada like even more, because I would love to meet him, but I'm just like, dude, I just want to see exactly how tall he is, because he's like, just seeing him next to Hikuleo and he's shorter, I'm like, oh my god. I was like, this dude, like, wow, that's all I could say is like, Jesus Christ. But really good match. Really good tag team wrestling on both ends. I will give Jay his flowers, you know, on both ends. You know, like I always say this on my show with Katie, it takes two to tango, and the same things like that for the tag teams also. So Jay being in one of the tag teams, I'll give him his flowers. It did really good job as well. Really good match. I loved it a lot, despite the outcome. Which I guess I will say now. Jay and Hikuleo take the win over Okada and Rocky. Rocky takes the pin, of course. I don't think they would do that to the world champion, having him take the pin. But oh my god, just the cold stare that Okada was giving Jay, like from the outside of the ring. Like he had to like face up to the apron, so you could really just see his eyes. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, Jay, you better watch out, dude. I'd be afraid if I had to face that at Dominion. But still a good match. Something to note is that, of course, being the bad guys, being the heels, Jay and Hikuleo attacked Okada after the match. Rocky was already down, so they didn't really do much with him, but they attacked Okada, and of course Jay was, you know, talking about like how he's gonna win, and this is like his future, taking the title, holding it up, you know, and he was about to take the title with them. I'm convinced he would have taken the title like Juice Robinson did with Tana at Dontaku, but Tangaloa came out and stopped him, and he kind of had a face-off with Hikuleo, and basically he told him, like, me or him, you know, like, come on now, like, family.
He said,
like, do you have the exact words?
Yeah, he said you wouldn't have done this to family's blood. He essentially went on to say, you're a traitor. You wouldn't, we're family.
And he kind of made him
What the hell?
choose, like basically, like
Mm-hmm.
basically made him choose between him, like family, and Jay. And by the looks of it, Hikuleo chose Jay. He left with Jay and kind of left Tangaloa sitting there, like pretty like wow, like I guess in shock that he didn't choose family. I said earlier that I wanted to mention something about Hikuleo and JY. There is kind of like, I wouldn't say a crack, but just a little dent. Something going on. And I usually think of things like this, it's wishful thinking basically, because, just to make me feel better and help me sleep at night. I always, like, for example, I say, like, maybe prime example of this is when I tell myself, like, maybe, MJF will cost Punk the title of Double or Nothing, so Hangman will keep it. Like, I say shit like that and hoping it's true so that, I can, like, feel better. So, because I don't want Hangman to lose the title. So, the kind of same thing applies here. I don't want to kind of lose the title to Jay. So, I kind of was like, well, what if, Hikuleo costs him the title? Like, so what if something happens? Like, I kind of just think like that. But I feel like in this case, maybe, especially, with Tangaloa coming out and, like, kind of basically calling him out and confronting him, like, head on, no, like, not even sugarcoating it, basically saying that he's a damn traitor and that he shouldn't do this to family. Maybe Hikuleo will take that to heart. Maybe he will realize, maybe he'll leave the Bullet Club and join, well, it's not really Guerrillas of Destiny, but, like, well, it is, but, like, it isn't, because, like, they're kind of making their own thing right now, like, with, Jado and stuff, and they've been kind of being friends with Tanahashi, so I'm like, I'm not saying they're a faction, but he's gonna join in with them. He's gonna, like, form an alliance. That's, I guess, what I was training for. He's gonna, like, forge an alliance with them. So maybe that'll happen, who knows? But other than that, Gemma, how would you rate this match?
I would rate this match 4 points. Because, like, I'm just so torn and I don't know really what's happening, because as you said about Hikuleo, I think Hikuleo might have had a light bulb moment when Tangaloa came out. And I watched your episode with Daniel about the Bullet Club Day, and maybe someone else in the Bullet Club, like El Phantasmo, for example.
I said that. I think I mentioned that, like, maybe El Phantasmo, like, costs him too. Like, who knows? Because, like, El Phantasmo had mentioned a while back that something's gonna change. Maybe that changes. He's gonna, he got his hair cut. He's, in the best of Super Juniors right now. Like, there's change coming. There's a change coming. Especially, and it doesn't help now that, like, basically him and Taiji Ishimori are not a tag team anymore. Yeah, they're in the same faction, but they went from, like, tagging together to win the tag titles from Ishimori having a single titles run, Maybe that's getting under his skin. We can only wait and see, which I'm excited, but I'm also very scared. It's very, like, mixed emotions. But yeah, with that being said, I give this match 4.25 stars. Really good match, but again, like, when you look at it, after Ishii and Eddie, I was like, yeah, like, no offense, this match wasn't as good. Which it was still good, but I'm just saying, like, Eddie's and Ishii's was better.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So now we head to the main event. I'm so glad this was the main event also, because, I was kind of afraid, and no offense, because it's Jay White and, Okada's the champion. I thought they would have put the tag match as the main event, but they didn't, and I'm really glad they didn't. They put the title match as the main event. So we had the IWGP US Championship on the line. We had Hiroshi Tanahashi, who was, I guess I just spoiled it, but the champion, taking on Will Ospreay of United Empire, Juice Robinson, newest member of the Bullet Club, and Jon Moxley, of Blackpool Combat Club. He's in a faction too now, so it's not just of Blackpool Combat Club. All I could say, like, there's so much to say about this match. Gemma, thoughts?
Absolute carnage. Leo was on commentary for this, and he put it best. It was an absolute car crash, a car collision, chaos.
Chaos, but you just can't stop, like, you can't look away. And I guess before you continue on your thoughts, just so you don't have to worry about, like, spoiling anything before I say it. I'll just say the winner right now, just so we can talk about our thoughts more in depth without having to worry about saying like the winner without it being announced by me. Juice Robinson is the new IWGP US champion. I'll say more thoughts on that later, but I guess just so you know, Juice Robinson is the new champ. And so, Gemma, continue on your thoughts, just so like you don't have to worry.
And with that being said, he's the champion. I knew it was gonna happen, but I didn't really like the way it happened. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm happy. He has worked so damn hard for this, and I think he essentially, he said in an interview that he is essentially the like shot in the arm Bullet Club needs, and but the way it kind of like, I'm happy, but the way it like I
no, I get you. It's hard to explain, but I get you.
Yeah.
It's just like the way, first of all, the fact that it ended in another controversial finish on the part of Will Ospreay. I guess that's just gonna be the new thing now.
Yeah.
Ospreay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the whole Sami Zayn thing, the whole controversy thing where Sami Zayn's always getting screwed. It's now Will Ospreay's turn to come out and say, I'm always getting screwed, this and that. That being said, I hope that Juice Robinson's title reign is long, because the U.S. title hasn't had that many long reigns. So not that I'm like upset that he won, but I hope that they're not going to take this reign and make it short because of Ospreay. And I'm not saying it's Ospreay's fault, but like I feel like they're going to use this as a way for Ospreay to get the title, because, he's like, I'm always getting screwed, this and that, and then finally he wins, like, clean, no problems, no interference, no controversy, and then he can finally boast about, like, see what happens when you don't screw me over, like, shit like that. But I feel bad that now this is gonna fall on Juice Robinson, who's now the champion. So I hope they don't do that to him, but I guess my point is that there's a chance, maybe. Other thoughts on it, again, like you said, really good match. Like, oh my god, like I was like on the edge of my seat. There was times where like I literally jumped out because like there was so many close falls like on everyone. I was like, oh my god. First, and I said this on my Instagram story, and I'm slightly bummed. Nothing against Juice Robinson or Moxley or Ospreay. All of them fucking phenomenal. I want to say, no matter which way this match went, I would not have been upset. I was not upset that Juice won, and if it was Moxley, if it was Ospreay, I wouldn't have minded either. I would have been very happy for all of them. But I really wanted Tana to win for this reason, not just because I love him, but all three of his U.S. title reigns have been very underwhelming and short. I wanted him to have a nice, long, fulfilling title reign, kind of how I mentioned with Ishii, especially with the U.S. title. So I feel like, I would have wanted him, I said this on my Instagram story, to have retained the title and then take it to Forbidden Door where he would face Moxley one-on-one and then Mox can win the title from him then. And then at that point you can bring Ospreay in to face Moxley, something like that. But I'm glad Juice won. I think it's a really good way to cement the fact that he's like a force to be reckoned with now that he's in not that he wasn't before, but it's more than ever now that he's in the Bullet Club. So nothing wrong with that, but I just would have hoped that Tana would have we would have seen Tana versus Mox for a US title at Forbidden Door, but it's okay. It's all right. And there was another thing I wanted to add in. It was first of all, also Tana, I love that Tana is also just coming out of his shell more and more. First, we see at Wrestle Kingdom, he's in a no DQ match where, kendo sticks, ladders, trash can lids. He goes for it. That's not his thing. He's like the one-on-one guy. Maybe some tag matches here and there, but he's all fair game. He doesn't do the no disqualification matches, none of that. So, I was also I'm very proud of him because, he had that spot where he put, was it Moxley? He put Moxley, he did the high fly flow off the top turnbuckle through the table. Really good spot. Loved that. And, it would have been cool to see him retain because it would have showed that, look, he can even do four-way matches where there are no rules and still win. But, he didn't, and that's okay. Still happy for Juice Robinson. And last thing to note, though, I said also on my Instagram story that Juice winning kind of worries me And here's why. I said if you keep up, then you would know. And maybe some people don't know. It's okay. Like, it's just something that I personally worry about. But like I mentioned earlier, I'm not a fan of Jay White, okay? It's no secret. I talk a lot of shit about him. And because of that, I really don't want him to beat Okada at Dominion for the title. I would really love Okada to hold on to that title till like next Wrestle Kingdom or until Ishii beats him for it, because like that's how it should be. But oh my god, now that Juice holds the US title, there are, if I'm thinking correctly, only 3 championships that Bullet Club does not have. And that is the heavyweight title, the never openweight title, and the junior heavyweight tag titles. If I'm not missing any, then I believe every other title was in the hands of Bullet Club. The junior heavyweight title, the never openweight trios tag titles, the US title now, I already said junior heavyweight, but the heavyweight tag titles. I think I'm missing one. I think I'm missing one. Hold on, let me look up the New Japan Pro. Because I think unless I'm missing something, as far as I know, all the titles are held by Bullet Club except 3. So yeah, so Taiji Ishimori has the junior heavyweight, Juice Robinson has the US, Chase Owens and Bad Luck Fale have the heavyweight tag championships, the never openweight trios titles. Yeah, all except 3 titles are in the hands of Bullet Club. So that kind of worries me. I'm like, are they going to put all the gold on Bullet Club? It's a good, and as much as I hate to say, it's a good way to really revamp them, as much as like, because they really have gone stale, especially during the pandemic era. So this would be a really good way to like build them back up. So they could possibly, at the very least, get more gold to them and have Jay win. And I'm kind of worried that Juice Robinson winning is kind of like a foreshadow of what's to come. This is just a personal worry of mine, but again, we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, so I'm like, oh my god, only, that's why it worries me, just because of that. Not because Juice has it, but because Juice has it, I'm afraid that Okada is in trouble. So I'm like, Okada. And then it doesn't help that Gato, who's like the biggest Jay White fan, books the matches. So I'm like, oh my god, like it's gonna happen. I'm like, I'm scared now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so match rating. What do you think? What's your rating for this?
This is the other one that I was gonna give a 5-star because the spots in it were nuts. Even though I didn't like the controversial fashion of the ending, I loved every moment before it. So I'm gonna give it a 5.5.
Yeah, I also gave it 5.5 stars because it not only was first of all, the match was going to be good just by looking at the freaking card. Like, wow, that was going to be a good match. But it definitely exceeded my expectations. Like, I already had high expectations, but even then, like, they still managed to exceed them. Again, the controversial finish, I only hope that they can only build something through that. I hope, like, maybe we'll get something from Ospreay out of that. Maybe it's just the way they're going to go with booking him. Don't really agree with it, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, first of all, I'm a fan of, all 4 members, or not members, but 4 participants in this match. All have their own unique style, all have their own unique, talent in their own way. Again, just massive props to all of them for doing this. And again, just little massive props for Tanahashi, who really stepped out of his comfort zone again. He is the oldest of all of them. He's like 44. He's gonna be 45 this year, unless he is already 45. Fuck, I don't know. But so the fact is that he could still hang. I don't care what people say. I don't know, Daniel just says this to mess with me, but Daniel, I don't know shit what you say. You call him old. He may be a little bit on the older side, but he can still fucking hang, and he's showed it again. I love you, Tana. That's why I'm wearing the shirt. But yeah, still a really good match, which is why I'm going to give it 5.5 stars. Because again, I'm not upset that Juice won. I did want Tana to take it to Forbidden Door, but I hope that means maybe we'll see Juice Robinson at Forbidden Door, We'll see. Maybe we'll get like Finn, sorry, Gem, I hate to say it because I know you love Finn, just but maybe we'll get them fighting for the title. Like, who knows? Like,
I'm fine with
all
that.
right,
Like,
all right. So just
I'm
to,
excited.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say, at the very end, everyone leaves. You know, Juice Robinson leaves with the title. You know, Bullet Club comes out. And here's the thing, though, really quick before I even talk about what happened after that. Jay kept getting his hands all over that title. I'm like, I know at the end of the day, he would put it back on Juice Robinson's shoulder, but I'm like, dude, he kept taking it and he was holding it for himself for a bit, and then he would put, I'm like, what you doing that for? Like, I'm a little suspicious. I'm like, what you doing that for, Jay?
Me too.
I'm like, maybe, because I don't know. Like, maybe Juice Robinson's Bullet Club is going to be like a short venture for him because maybe, I don't know, maybe like if Jay doesn't win a Dominion, maybe he thinks, oh, well, I have another title to go after. And maybe he won't so much kick Juice Robinson out of Bullet Club. But Daniel and I have talked about this. Jay is a master of manipulation. Maybe he will manipulate Juice Robinson into giving him a title shot, and he will find a way to cheat his way into getting it. Jay is like a mad scientist. He knows how to make chaos, I guess, which is why he joined Chaos. But he knows how to wreak havoc, and he's really good at strategizing, okay? Like, and that's scary especially when you don't like the guy. But well, again, I just kind of noticed he kept touching the title. He kept looking at it. And I'm like, Jay, sounds like someone's jealous. So I'm like, like maybe that's another reason why he might possibly not win a Dominion. Who knows? But I'm just saying, I kind of noticed that. So I'm like, Jay, keep your hands to yourself, buddy. Let's like let Juice have his title.
Reel it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Reel it in.
So that being said, after Jay did all that, like freaking touched Juice Robinson's title, like if it was his, John Moxley decided to close the night with a promo. He thanks the audience for coming out to see him. He talked about how grateful he was. He talked about how he respects all his opponents, including Tanahashi, even though he hates his guts. I was like, damn. I'm like, John, you like hitting me right where it hurts. But he says, like, you know, he even like gives flowers to like the big names, like talking about Okada and like how in like Ishii, and like how he's like so grateful to be able to work with them. Basically, he closes the night off with a nice thank you, and I think that's a good way to close off the pay-per-view with like a baby face, you know, thanking the audience, making them feel nice and good inside. And yeah, he just thanks the audience, and then yeah, that's how you close the pay-per-view. So that was Capital Collision. Again, roller coaster, but it was still fucking damn good. So yeah, that was the pay-per-view. Gemma, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Gema_wrestling. That is spelled GEMA_wrestling.
Yeah, I'll leave a little graphic so they can see it too.
The exact same thing on Twitter, but I'm more active on Instagram.
Yeah, me too. I only go on Twitter for Kenny, Hangman, and then the Young Bucks bio. That's or unless there's drama going on, and like that's pretty much it. Yeah. I don't really do Twitter, but yeah. So that's where you can find Gemma. Like I said, when I'm editing, there will be a graphic right there for you to see her at. And if you want to find me on social media, you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter, mostly Instagram, at Y2Garcia with an underscore. If there's no underscore, it's not me. That mistake has been made. So I'm going to, hold on, I need to plug everything really quick. So if you want to see more of the ShElite Showcase, which this show is produced by, you can follow Katie on Twitter at KatieWrestling13 for the link tree for all things ShElite Showcase. We have our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/ShElite Showcase. Go subscribe. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are trying for that custom link, so please subscribe. And if you want the audio version of not only this show, but all the other shows that we do, you can find them on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. Go and leave us a rating. Leave us that 5-star rating. And we have other shows like our ShElite Showcase recap show, which is normally done on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But this, as of filming this coming Thursday, we're going to go a little bit early. I believe we're going to go 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be on the lookout for that. I'm pretty sure Katie will tweet that out so you guys can be reminded. Katie also does a another show called In the Crowd, which is a collab show with the wrestling community, and she of course does another show called Inside the Mind Of, where she interviews different podcasters in the wrestling community, kind of gets their thoughts. So you should check those out, all on the ShElite Showcase. And of course we have this show, the New Japan Takeover. I believe this is the 4th episode, so I plan on doing more since I'm out for the summer, and there's more New Japan that's coming. We have, like we mentioned, Dominion, we have Forbidden Door, we have the Best of the Super Juniors happening right now. So there's so much more to come from this show that I plan on having. And like I said, Daniel couldn't be here, but I'm hoping that at some point we can have both Gemma and Daniel. We can have a 3-way panel, or we can even have 4 people, because I also want to have Brooke on at some point. So just be on the lookout for more of that. And of course, everything will be tweeted out to you on Katie's Twitter or the ShElite Twitter. I believe we have a Twitter. I'm not sure, but check that out. And also just a quick shout out to Justin of Heel Tactics Wrestling, or just Heel Tactics, sorry. He's the mastermind behind all the music on the ShElite Showcase. Go show him some love. He is an absolute genius in the music world. He makes all the music for, this show, our ShElite Showcase recap, Katie shows Inside the Mind Of, and In the Crowd. He does all that, and if it weren't for him, we would not have music. So thank you so much, Justin. Shout out to you. We love you so much. And also, wait, really quick, I forgot to mention, this is something I need to add into my notes when I plug the show. We have merch now. So if you go to the link tree on Katie's Twitter, you will find our merch there. You should check it out. We have the logo, and we also have another shirt that is for women's rights. It's a pro-choice shirt. I know it's a little bit of a controversial subject, but it is following our beliefs as women who want their rights to be protected. And so all the proceeds will go to a charity. I'm not exactly sure which one. I will, as of editing this, I will make sure to leave like a graphic or something, like just something to show you what charity it is. It'll be right there. So yeah, I'll make sure to include that. But thank you so much. If you guys do purchase it, it really means a lot, because we do work really hard on all this, and you guys, help make this happen. So thank you again, Gemma, for joining me. I really need to have you on again, whether it's just the 2 of us or if it's us with Daniel. I do need to have you on again, because this was so much fun. And she knows New Japan, obviously. She watches New Japan. She watches Strong as well. She helped me get through the Strong matches. So yeah, this has been the New Japan Takeover. Until next time, peace.